Hello class. Today we will be learning how to do exponents. We will write and evaluate numerical expressions involving whole number exponents. The definition of exponent is just a quantity representing the power to which a given number or expression is to be raised, usually expressed as a raised symbol beside the number or expression. So in the next few slides, I will give you examples on how to create an expression with exponents and also how to evaluate expressions with the exponent. Alright, the first examples, we are going to create numerical expressions using exponents. So for this first example, I have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Since there are 4 3's, that is the number of the exponent. And then you just keep the base number, which is 3. So it would be 3 raised to the 4th power. Next, I have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Alright, to make this a little easier, I group each 5 by 3. And then I kept the base number, 5. I raised it to the 3rd power, plus this section right here, which is 5 raised to the 3rd power as well. And then I added the exponents and I got 6. So the expression for this one is 5 raised to the 6th power. Okay, for the next example, I have 2 times 2 times 2 plus 4 times 4 times 4. So first I will go by grouping the numbers. Since we have 3 number 2's, that expression would be 2 raised to the 3rd power. Now on the right side of the plus sign, we have 3 4's. So for this expression, it will be 4 raised to the 3rd power. Are there any questions? Alright, next on the next slide, I will have a few students come to work out the examples so I can make sure you guys understand. Okay, may I have someone come to the board and do the first problem? Alright, Jesse, will you come to the board and do the first problem for me? And talk me through the steps. Okay, on the first part, you have 2 2's. So you will group these 2 2's. Hold on, Jess. Let me get your pen out for 1 second. Okay, first, you will group the 2 2's. So that means you have 2. And then I will group the 3's. And I have 2 3's. So therefore, I will keep the base number from the first expression, which is 2. And I will raise it to the 2nd power because it's 2 2's. Okay, for the right side, I will keep the base number, which is 3. And I will raise it to the 2nd power because there are 2 3's. Alright, Jesse, thank you for solving that problem for me. You did wonderful. Now will I have the next student come and solve the second problem for me? Okay, Carter, come to the board and solve the second problem for me. You can choose the pen or marker or crayon that you would like to pick. Okay, 6. There are 4 4's. I will group all of these together. And there are 4 4's, so I'll put a 4 right here. I will then group the 5's. And there are 2 5's, so I will place a 2 right here at the bottom. Okay, for the left side of the expression, I will keep the base number, which is 4. I will then raise it to the 4th power because there are 4 4's. To solve the right side of the expression, I will place the base number 5. And I will raise it to the 2nd power because there are 2 5's. Alright, thank you, Carter, for solving this problem for me. May I have another student to come solve the next problem? Alex, will you come solve the next problem on the board? And you can pick whether you want a pen, highlighter, or a paintbrush, anything of your choice. Okay, first off, I will start by grouping the 6's together. And there are 3 6's, so I'll place the 3 right here. I will then group the 8's. And there are 2, so I'll place a 2 right here. And then there's only 1 10, so there's just 1 10. Alright, so for the first part of the expression, I will keep the base number 6, and then I will raise it to the third power. And for the middle, I will keep the base number 8, and I will raise it to the second power. And for the last part of this expression, I will take the 10, which is the base number, and I will raise it to the first power. Alright, thank you, Alexis. That is how you solve the third problem as well. I would like to thank Jesse, Carter, and Alexis for helping me create these numerical expressions using exponents. On the next slides, we will learn how to evaluate these expressions with the exponents already on the whole number. Now we will learn how to evaluate expressions with exponents. Alright, so for this first example right here, it's 3 to the 4th power. To break it down and make it simpler, you can write down the number of the exponents. So I wrote down 4 3's. Then you will put that in your calculator, and your answer will be 81. For the next one, it was 5 to the 6th power. So I wrote down 6 number 5's. And then I multiply all of these together, and I got 15,625 as my answer. For this problem, I have 2 to the 3rd power plus 4 to the 3rd power. So I broke down 2 to the 3rd, and I put 2 times 2 times 2. And then I broke down 4 to the 3rd power as 4 times 4 times 4. So 2 times 2 to the 3rd power is 8, and 4 to the 3rd power is 64. So I will then add 8 plus 64, and my answer for this problem is 72. So 2 to the 3rd power plus 4 to the 3rd power is 72. Now on the next slide, I will call up a few students to do these examples problems so you can understand how to evaluate numerical expressions with exponents. Okay, for this first example, who would like to come to the board and solve? Alright, just to come right on up. When you come up, you can either pick a pen or a highlighter or a marker, whichever is your choice to solve the problem. Okay, so this says 2 to the 3rd power. So I will start off writing 3 2's. I will then put this into my calculator. I would do 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. So my answer is 8. Sorry, Jesse, I'm not sure why that, not Jesse, I'm sorry, Lauren, I'm not sure why that pen did that, but we can start over. Okay, first, I would do 2 times 2 times 2. And I will put that inside of my calculator, and my answer will be 8. That is correct, Lauren. May I have someone else to come to the board and solve the second example for me? Okay, Caleb, come right on up. Alright, for this example, I will write 4 5's. So I will do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. I will then put this into my calculator. I will do 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, and I'll get 625. That is correct, Caleb. Thank you for coming to solve that problem. May I have someone come solve the next problem? Okay, Chris, come right on up. Okay, for this problem, I have 5 3s. So I will write 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And I will then put this inside of my calculator. And I will get 243. Thank you, Chris. That is the correct answer. May I have one come solve our last and final problem? All right, William, you can come to the board and you can pick whatever marker we would like. All right. So since I have 7 to the second power, I will write 7 down twice. I will have 7 times 7. And once I put that in my calculator, I get 49. That is correct, William. Thank you. So today we have learned how to create and evaluate numerical expressions using exponents. And that will conclude our lesson on exponents.